Hello everyone, welcome to SLM tutorial, and this is our new session on learning VBA Macro. In my last video I talked about how to use Vlookup and also how to automate a Vlookup, but I used a very small data. Today I am going to use a bit huge data in thousands, and we will be using our Vlookup functionality along with writing the codes in VBA to automate it. So for an example, this is the data, the large data, order data I have, where you see, you know, approximately 10,000 columns or rows, and I have to check how many columns. Many columns, maybe 21. You see here, 21. So when you work on a large data, first of all, I would always advise you make, you know, a freeze pane. How do you do that? What I'm trying to say is this is our heading, titles, and if I go down to the data I'll lose them. I'll not be able to see the top row or the titles or the headings as I move down. So first of all, always advisable that you freeze it. How do you freeze it? Go to view, click freeze pane, freeze top row. As soon as you freeze top row, even if you go down further, the top row will be visible and you will be able to see under which column or the title you are, or which, I mean, first class is actually the falls under the title ship mode or under this category. This is what you're starting, and here, so I have the order data, but I've got a requirement from my senior management that we want to gauge the risk on on every order. So I have given this risk sheet, the standard sheet, a pre-designated or designed sheet from the organization that as per the ship mode, we have decided the risk level. If a ship mode is second class, it means the data is in the very low risk category. If it is standard class, it's a low risk category. If it's in first class, it's a high category, and if it's the same day, it's extremely risky. So what I'm going to do, what I'm supposed to do is I need to bring the risk category here, risk details here in this column based on ship mode. If anywhere in cell it says second class, the risk should be very low. So if I do it manually, it will be much time consuming. If I use VLOOKUP, how would I use a VLOOKUP on such a large amount of data? I'll go here. I'll add, excuse me, risk here at the title. I'll start VLOOKUP, enter VLOOKUP, start bracket. What is my common item? What is my common detail? What is my common column? What is my common, criteria, which is called lookup value. This is, sorry, and I think I have to start it again. VLOOKUP, start bracket, and I move to the common value, which is ship mode. So my lookup value is column E2, right? Column E, row 2, it means it's E2. I use comma separator. Now I need the table array. From where I want the data? My data is comparable data is in the risk sheet, which is here. I select both A and B and use comma. And the data I want, the value of the data I want is in column 2 of this table. Remember, I selected A to B, and now it is in column 2. Had it been in C, it would have been column 3. So I use 2, again separator, comma, and use 0, or I write false. I advise 0. Bracket close, enter. As soon as you press enter, you will see it is showing as very low. It means whatever the ship mode is here, class is here, it's a second class. It's showing very low. In my risk table, it says for second class, risk level will be very low. Now what to do? You have two ways. You put your cursor on this cell, on this function or the formula, Control C, copy. You come here a little left in column U, Control down arrow, and you will be at the last column. You come here, you paste your data here, press Control up arrow, sorry, Control Shift up arrow, and you will at the top data, Control V. This is one of the ways how you can input your function, your formula in all the required cells. However, it fails when you have lot of spaces and all in between. Another option. Okay, another option. Another option is you put your cursor on it, Control C, or do nothing. In the highlighted box at the left, in the right side here, as soon as you bring your cursor to the bottom right, it will be converted into plus sign. As soon as it will be converted into plus sign, you click twice on it and formula will be copied automatically till the last column. However, it also fails when you have spaces on the row. Here, if you have space, it will not, how should I say it? Okay, little. So if there is a space, this will not work. It'll fail. It'll come until here only. So the last type of the way you use, put your cursor on it, Control C, press or keep holding Shift button and down arrow button. Keep pressing and go by and by till the last cell, last column, last row, sorry, and highlight all and Control V, paste the data. I did not go to the last. It's very tedious, but this is how you need to do it. Here again. So this is how you find a VLOOKUP value manually. However, if data is too large or it is very frequently, repeatedly used in one of your sheet, one of your work, one of your Excel, processing, you can automate it. You can save your time, you can save your efforts, you can make it more efficient, more beautiful. And how would you automate it? You will automate it via Excel VBA Macro. Very easy. Just what is actually needed to understand the concepts. I'm not saying go to whole fundamentals, logics, cram, memorize. No, just remember the steps as I say. Just follow the video, just follow these steps. I bet you will be able to at least create one very good macro yourself for your work to represent the efficiency you can bring in your daily work. If you are using VLOOKUP anywhere, and let's start it. Here I say, my management says, Salim, on behalf of the ship mode, I want some value or risk be represented on column V. Or it says anywhere, but I take column V. If you know how to do it in column V, you can do it anywhere. Always remember range, and always remember cells. How I tell you? Okay, I'll tell you later. Let's start first. To go to the VBA, but guys, here a bit large. I made it right. We look up. So if you go to VBA first, to go to VBA, you need to use Alt F11. As soon as you press Alt F11, you will be in the window of VBA. Select Microsoft Excel object, select this workbook, whatever you want. I advise Microsoft Excel objects. First step was to understand the requirement. Second was to requirement or scope on a large level, on a high level. Go to Alt F11 in this window, highlight Microsoft Excel object, insert module. I have module 1, delete all first of all. Let me remove if there is anything in past. Okay, Microsoft Excel objects, insert module. You have this white window, a magical window where you will be writing your codes. To start your codes, always use sub first. Sub space your macro name. Uh, Lookup. I say Mac. I say we look Mac. A unique name. You can write any one of your choice. As soon as you hit enter, you see n sub is automatically represented here or written here. It is done by the VBA itself. So anything written between these two lines, sub and n sub, is called the procedure. I mean, overall is the procedure is called the automation or the coding of VBA, which will help you to automate your process. Let's start now. First of all, in my manual work, I wrote myself here risk, but here I am automating everything, so I don't need to write anything. Rather, I need to instruct VBA to do it. And how would I do it? Now this is very important. Understand, I'm in a workbook. This is whole a workbook, a worksheet, and there are many sheets. Sheet orders, sheet risk. If there may be sheet 2, sheet 3, any. So let's not keep it here. It will confuse you, but there might be anything. So the environment is the whole worksheet, and the sheets inside it, and then a range. This is a range. This is a range. I call worksheets. First thing. Second, I am in. I want my data to happen here, which is in sheets, sheet orders. I write orders. Name should be matching, similar. See orders. See orders. Caps lower. Be very careful. In brackets, or sorry, in quotes, because it's a text. Dot range in quotes, because I want the data to happen here, and this is column V, row 1, V1, or see here it says V1. I'm calling it range. Remember my words. I'm saying it range. V1, V1. If this V is caps, lower doesn't matter. V1. Quotes close, bracket close, dot value equals to what? Risk. Remember this is important. I'm writing a text, it should be in the quotes. So I told VBA, please in worksheets under order sheet, range V1 should have the value risk as soon as I run my macro. So as soon as I run my macro, I have two ways. I press this run button or I use F5, but I am testing it. I test it. So I tested by F8. F8. I pressed F8, no error bar, No pop-up, no error pop-up. It means my macro worked, and it says risk here. Just say it. Show you. Let me show you that another way. It's very important. You test, you debug. Okay, guys, it will be a little lengthier today, but all steps are very important to write for the macros. I run my macro once. Here we go. A risk appears, the title appears automatically. Okay, all right. One line of code is working very well. Start on the next. Next. Now I will advise my VBA, my codings in a way that it will bring a VLOOKUP value which we did manually here. So remember a few things. First, I want to start my value appear here, which is V2, which is range V2, column V, row 2. But remember, if I want to have to run a macro just for one cell or one this, it's okay. It's very easy. I write range and v1, doesn't matter, but I'll be doing it for the number of cells, so I need to write it in a manual way. I'm writing it in inverted commas. It's a text way, but I'll write it in a different manner. Now there are two ways: either you write range or you write cell. If you want to call it range, it's v2, but if I call it cells, so the raw number is 2 and column number I need to get it. I don't know. I'll start from very first column and I'll go to till V. Guys, on the left side of mine, you will see 65536R, which I don't care. Concerned about the second one, which is 21C, column 21, and here is column 22. It means this is column number 22. I have a numerical value. Row 2, column 22. So this is cells 2 comma 22. First is row, second is column. You understood the concept of calling a cell value. So I will instruct my sheet, my macro, that in this cell, I want my VLOOKUP value. So I'll start worksheet, please. Worksheets, because I'm in a whole environment. Enter. I'm in order sheet. My value will be in order sheet. Excuse me. So I write orders. Be careful about caps, lower, etc. Now I'll not write range, I write cells because I will be representing many cells. Start bracket, no inverted commas because I'll use the numeric value which is 2 comma 22 because I want value in here which is 222. Dot formula. Why I say formula? Because I'll write the formula equal. I'll write a formula. So there is a way to write formulas or functions in VBA. We generally call them application function, application worksheet function. So we write that way too. I say application dot worksheet function. This one. I'm calling this application to use worksheet function. As soon as I click it, I have another option. Dot. I need to use the function VLOOKUP. This one. Okay. So in application worksheet function dot VLOOKUP, I want to use my VLOOKUP. I start a bracket. I'll use the same formula I used earlier in the Excel, but the line has gone much lengthier and I want to short it out. I want to start new line. So start a new line in VBA coding. You need to press enter and the underscore. And you remember, I'm sorry. Here I want to tell. So space, excuse me, and underscore, and then enter. Your new line will be started without any error. If you do just enter, it'll not let you work. Trust me. Try yourself. So I said my functionalities, my automation, that this value should have a VLOOKUP, and I use the formula VLOOKUP. Now what I am telling, I am using a formula VLOOKUP in the written form. So if I use VLOOKUP here, I say VLOOKUP blah blah blah, and I need lookup value. What was my lookup value? My lookup value is the common value between the two sheets, which is here a ship mode. And because I am in V2, I'm calling for the value of V2, which is 222. So I'll be in column 2, sorry, row 2, and column is which? Say yourself. Let's count it. I start from A, go to E. I know it's 5. See at the left side, a little up. You see it says 5C. I'm in column 5. So I write worksheets, worksheets under order sheets, orders. Remember orders. Name of the actual sheet, this one. Dot cells. Lookup value is this ship mode, which is range is E2, but actually it is 2, comma 5. Dot value and first lookup values over now, comma. First argument is okay. Second argument, from where I want the data. I want the data from sheet risk and from these two tables, two columns. So I call them A and B. So I'll tell my sheet again. Worksheet, please. Bracket start, apostrophes or quote start from the risk sheet, not the order sheet, risk sheet. Risk, quotes close, bracket close, dot range. Range is what? A to B, whole A to B. A, inverted commas, because I'm calling range, not the cells. Colon B, bracket close. Remember guys, I'm calling here the whole range, not a cell. So I'm not writing them as cells. Comma. In this sheet, my data lies in the column number 2, or it lies in the C3, D4, E5, but it's in B2. So it's in 2. I write 2, comma. Always for VLOOKUP, use 0. Though you can use false as well, I advise use 0. Pretty easier. And see, there are one line code. There's just a one line code, two lines code. You can write easily. You can gauge them, drag them, debug them very easily. But when you write a macro, a high level macro, even an intermediate level macro, where you write maybe 500 lines or 50 lines, you become confused. It'll be hard to debug, it'll hard to remember the errors, this and that. Many things are there. So remember, try and use best practices. Bracket close, enter. What I'll do now, I'll test my code. F8, F8, this worked very well. Now next. Okay, I've got an error. I've got an error. What it says? We made some mistake and I have to check that. So guys, you know what the mistake was? This formula was the mistake. I wrote FORMMULA. Actually, it should be FORMULA. Typo. My apologies. Okay, I wrote it correct. I use F8. Remember F8. Okay, I don't get any error. My formula worked. Automation is ready. So here you see it says very low. Excuse me, it says very low. It means it appeared risk itself. It appeared very low in this cell itself. It means my macro worked because ship mod was second class and it shows very low. And as per my risk sheet, let me just zoom a little bit. As per my risk sheet, second class should be very low. So my code of line worked very well. However, this worked only for one cell, which was V2. But I wanted V3, V4, V5, V6, and I can't write all that here, writing like V1, V2, V3 cell this. No. Now here I use a loop. A loop is something which tells VBA, codings, macro, whatsoever you call it, please do one step again and again until it satisfies one of my criteria or it reaches an end limit or it reaches to the level where I want it to be reached. So I'll use a loop. Apart from loop, remember macro actually VBA is actually is based on the memory used by every function. And there are many data collection functions. It may be numbers, integers, text, etc. Here I will only talk about something called integer. In detail, if I get time, on talking the fundamentals and logics, I'll talk about that in future as well. I'll bring a class about on all of them. Here I just want to give you one thing which is called integer. This is one of the data function or data type, remember. So leave everything. What I want to say here, I call something called dim dimension. Dim means it's a way we write, we give value to something, some text or alphabet, a numerical value. As soon as I say dim x as integer, it means my x, remember. Okay, let me press enter. As soon as I press enter, dim becomes highlighted blue as integer. All automatically by VBA made highlighted blue because these are the automatic functions. What is not changed is my x. I can write x, y, z. My name I can write whatever slm. I can write anything that wouldn't change. Integer means I have allotted this this x a value up to 32,000. Integer is a data type. Okay, I'll tell about this in future, but here you need to memorize it, cram it, what it says. X as integer. So my x has some number of values. Now I call for the loop. I say for x equal to 2 to 10,000. I can take 10,000. I can take anything up to 32,000. Remember, integer has a value up to 32,000. It's not I say 50,000. It'll blocked. It'll fail. Why? I'll tell later. Later I'll talk about it. It's already gone very lengthy. So I say for x 2 to 10,000. Why take 2 to 10,000? I know my value will start from raw 2 and maximum data I have the 10,000, which is 9,995. So I'll take up to 10,000. Value may go up and down. If you want to take it, you can take it up to 30,000, doesn't matter. X is equal to 2 and 2 10,000. Every time you use 4, you need to close the value by next. Remember, 4 next. Logical fundamentals. I have to do it. Okay, guys. So I say X is some number between but from 2 to 10,000. So if I talk about uh, here, this is actually column 2. Sorry, raw. Where am I? Okay, let me go to the right place. Okay, this is actually what was that? Raw 2, column number 22. So I wrote raw 2, column number 22, but actually I don't want to call it 2. I want to call it X because my X means 2 and column is always 22. Similarly, here in the next line, I don't want to call it 2. I want to call it row number X, which may be 2, which may be 3, which starts from 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, column fixed 5. Range is fixed, everything is fixed. Now what I have told my VBA, please start a VLOOKUP in from this column on behalf of that lookup value and ship mode value, and wherever you find second class, standard class, first class, same day, update a risk level here here automatically. I have told my VB to work. I don't know if it's working. Let me press it. Let me check by F8. How will check? We will check by this way. Live. Okay, I'm in here. Okay, even I delete this. I don't know. Okay, and I start from here. F8. F8 means you're testing. Okay, let me just make it little. I press F8. Start from here. Come here. Work well. Risk in very first row. Now I give my X a value. Press F8. Now my X value should be 2. F8 moved. You see V2 or the row number 2, column number 22 has a value of very low. It matched. I start again F8. Now my X value will be 3. You see? As soon as I press F8, again I see in row number 3 very low. As soon as I keep pressing my getting a data, so instead of doing one by one F8, my testing is successful. My testing is successful. I press what? F5 or this play macro button. As soon as I play macro button, unable to get the VLOOKUP property of the worksheet function class. Guys, this is what error is actually. Let me check it where at 9996 I'm getting some error, and I know why am I getting this error, because if I select okay, okay, let me show you here. Control home. My last value is 9995. So in my VBA, I should give this value 9995. And if I run macro, all went well. What's the problem? What is the problem? 9996. I don't want to run it till 99. Okay, I have to control S. Okay, and close it. Okay, and go to Alt F11 in macro again. Try and run now. I'll not get the errors. Home, go to last. You see risk has values all the way till last row. Okay, so this is how you can formulate a VLOOKUP via macro. You don't need to do anything. Let me delete everything. Okay, let me close it as well. My macro is saved. I'll go to my developer tab. I'll go to macros. I see my macro name. We look Mac. I call it run. As soon as I call it run, the data will be appeared automatically in any sheet which name is orders. You will be able to run this macro. Now the last point is that error. That error was appearing again and again, which is saying, okay, you cannot go beyond 995. You don't have data beyond this, because I don't have data in 9996 column for ship mode. It is blank, so it is giving error. I would certainly give you an answer for that, but in my next video, because it has become already too lengthy. That's a very important thing, and it's a different session where we talk about how to handle errors. It's not big, it's not tricky, very easy to understand, but in my next video I'll come up with that answer. If you have any queries, please write your comments. I would urge, if you like these videos and if you find it beautiful or good for your work, please subscribe and provide, especially provide your feedback. If you have any queries, you wanna you want me to improve on anything, or you want me to bring class on any particular area, or if you have any issues during your projects, you're working on your daily work on an Excel sheet and you want to improve it and reduce the time, efforts, and all. Sometimes we bring up to the level of Six Sigma projects or high level projects by reducing the efforts and time. So please call me for any advices. As of now, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day ahead. Goodbye.